Ever wondered if Thomas Edison deemed himself a failure for his 1,000 unsuccessful attempts at inventing the light bulb? A common question, right? But let's dive a little deeper into this concept. In our everyday lives, the term failure is often perceived with a negative connotation. It's seen as a dead end, a setback, a sign to retreat. But what if I told you it's not? Think about it. Every time you trip over an unseen stone, you become more aware, more cautious. You learn. And that's exactly what failure is, a teacher. Now let's go back to our friend Thomas Edison. With every unsuccessful attempt, he didn't see a failure. He saw a lesson, a new discovery, a step closer to his goal. He once quipped, "I've not failed, I've just found 1,000 ways that won't work." Now, that's a perspective to ponder upon, isn't it? Failure in all its glory is an essential part of innovation. It's a process of trial and error, of learning what works and what doesn't. It's a stepping stone, a guiding light. It pushes us to explore, to experiment, to step out of our comfort zones. It's the driving force behind growth and development. So let's redefine this concept. Let's strip failure off its negativity and see it for what it truly is, an opportunity to learn, to improve, to innovate. It's not about how many times you fall, but about how many times you get back up, dust yourself off, and keep going. So the next time you find yourself facing a setback, remember, it's not a dead end. It's just a detour, a part of the journey. It's an opportunity to learn, to grow, to succeed. Because at the end of the day, each failure brings you one step closer to your goal. Failure, my friends, is simply a stepping stone on the path to success. Imagine if every time you stumbled, you didn't fall backward, but you fell forward. Let's delve into this idea that's as intriguing as it is empowering. This is the concept of failing forward. Failure, as we're often led to believe, is an end, a full stop. But what if we start viewing it as a comma, a pause before we launch into our next move? Failure can indeed be a catalyst for growth, an instigator for success, when we choose to view it constructively. Think of Thomas Edison, a name synonymous with invention and innovation. Edison didn't invent the light bulb on his first attempt, or his second, or even his 100th. He discovered 1,000 ways not to make a light bulb before he found the one that worked. Did he fail 1,000 times? No, he learned 1,000 times. He failed forward, and it's not just Edison. Countless successful individuals have used failure as a stepping stone to their success. J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series, was rejected by 12 publishers before one finally decided to take a chance on her. Today, she is one of the most successful authors in the world. She used her failure as fuel, propelling her forward to success. Failing forward is about using failure as a tool, a teacher. It's about learning from your mistakes, understanding what didn't work, and using that knowledge to refine your approach. It's about perseverance and resilience. It's about not letting failure define you, but rather letting it guide you. And here's the secret. Every stumble, every fall, brings you one step closer to success. Each failure is a lesson learned, a stepping stone on the path to your goal. You just have to have the courage to keep going, to keep learning, to keep failing forward. So the next time you stumble, remember this. You're not falling backward, you're falling forward. You're not moving away from your goal, but towards it. Turn your stumbling blocks into stepping stones. That's the power of failing forward. What if you could harness the power of failure and use it to propel you forward? Imagine a world where failure isn't the monster under the bed, but the stepping stone towards success. Yes, it's possible. And it starts with embracing failure. To do this, we must first confront our fears. Fear of failure is often the very obstacle that keeps us from reaching our potential. But remember, fear is only as deep as the mind allows. Let's turn that fear into fuel, a driving force that propels us forward. Next, we reflect on our motivations. What is it that you truly want? What are you willing to endure to achieve it? You see, understanding your why is crucial. It's the compass that keeps you on track when the road gets tough. And believe me, it will get tough. But that's okay, because you're tougher. Now let's talk about guidance. No one has ever achieved greatness in complete isolation. We all need a little help sometimes. Don't be afraid to seek advice, to learn from others who've walked the path before you. Remember, everyone was once a beginner. But above all, embracing failure is about persistence and resilience. It's about standing back up every time you're knocked down, dusting yourself off, and saying, is that the best you got? Because let's face it, failure is inevitable. But staying down, that's a choice. So are you ready to make a choice? to embrace failure, to learn from it, to grow stronger because of it. Because once you do, you'll realize that failure isn't the terrifying beast you once thought it was. Instead, it's a teacher, a guide, a friend whispering in your ear, "Try again, you're one step closer." Failure is not the end of the journey, it's the beginning of a new, more enlightened path. So take that step, embrace failure, and watch as your path to success unfolds before you. How do you walk the road to success? Is it paved with gold, or is it littered with the lessons learned from failure? The road to success, my friends, is not a smooth, straight shot. No, it's a winding path, a roller coaster ride, a journey filled with ups and downs, twists and turns. But the most important thing to remember is that every stumble, every fall is a lesson learned. It's a stepping stone that brings us one step closer to our destination. Now, you might be wondering, how do these failures, these setbacks, help us on our journey to success? Well, let's think about it for a moment. Every time we encounter a hurdle, we're forced to adapt, to change our strategies, to find new ways to overcome the challenge. It's in these moments of struggle that we learn the most about ourselves, our capabilities, and our potential. Imagine if Thomas Edison had given up after his first few attempts at inventing the light bulb. We might still be sitting in the dark, but he didn't. He learned from each failure, each misstep, and used those lessons to propel him forward. He didn't see failure as a dead end, but as a detour, a chance to learn a new route towards his goal. And that's the key to walking the road to success. It's about not just accepting failure, but embracing it. It's about understanding that every setback is an opportunity for a comeback. It's about maintaining a positive attitude, even in the face of adversity. Because let's face it, the road to success is rarely easy, but it's those who can weather the storm, who can pick themselves up after a fall, who ultimately reach their destination. So research, learn from others' experiences, change strategies when necessary, and above all, keep a positive attitude. Because every failure is a lesson learned, every setback a stepping stone on the path to success. Remember, it's not about how many times you fall, but how many times you get back up. The road to success is not a straight path, it's a winding road filled with lessons learned from failure. So, what do we take away from all this talk of failure and success? Well, dear listeners, it's simple. As we journey through life, we must understand that failure isn't a dead end. It's a detour and a stepping stone on the road to success. Think of the great Thomas Edison. He didn't fail 1,000 times. He discovered 1,000 ways not to make a light bulb. That's the essence of failing forward. It's about using failure as a tool, not a verdict. It's about understanding that every misstep is a lesson learned, every setback, a setup for a comeback. So when you stumble, don't get discouraged. Instead, take a moment, reflect on what went wrong, adjust your strategy, and move forward with renewed focus. Seek guidance, learn from others, celebrate the small victories, and stay positive. Remember, each failure brings you one step closer to success. It helps you prioritize, confront your fears, and develop resilience. It gives you compelling stories of overcoming and achieving. After all, the sweetest victory is the one that's most difficult. Remember, the only true failure is the one from which we learn nothing. So, keep failing forward, my friends, and embrace the journey to success.